All right, we're gonna do a little makeup today. We're gonna address this in a little bit. I'm 41 and yes, sorry, I couldn't get that open. It still happens. You're still going to get breakouts occasionally. The majority of mine, if I have one, are due to hormonal. But we're gonna see if my foundation will cover it. If not, then we'll address it into a little bit of a deeper matter. So this is the Brow Trio by Trio Beauty. This is a stencil kit pomade. I swear by this stuff, love this stuff. Instantly you have a brow that lasts all day. The color in the pomade that I use is taupe. I do have a discount code. I think it's Misty10. But a lot of times sometimes they have discounts on their website. So it is the Brow Trio by Trio Beauty. And I'm gonna go in with one of their little pens and draw some little hair-like strokes to make it look a little bit more realistic. All right, so you can see I added that to give it a little bit more of a realistic look. I do have some tutorials of doing my whole little brow routine on my Instagram page. Okay, so let's move into some 3D foundation. So this is my compact, customized to me. I'm gonna start with some contour. I'll always start with my contour, but you can start wherever. I have found that if you use a smaller brush to apply your contour, it kind of helps when you go to blend. So I'm just placing that like right under my cheekbone. Contour was something that I never could do. Not right under, but like right where the curvature of your cheekbone starts to bevel. That's where I always place my contour. But contour was something that I never could do. When I started using this cream foundation, 3D foundation, it became so easy because you basically just place the colors where they go and blend. So I'm just placing this right below my hairline and then right where that cheekbone bevels, right at the edge, and I'm gonna run a little bit of what's left under my jawline just to chisel that out. And then I'm gonna flip my brush over. I'm gonna sweep a little bit under this area because we don't wanna highlight right under here because a lot of times we're doing that. So just add a little depth right there and it will kind of lift that. All right, now I'm gonna go with my highlight colors. So this is Mango. You can see that I have pores, I have texture, I have capillaries around my nose. So I need something that's a little bit, I need to adjust this lighting. I have a window right there and the sun's coming in. But I need something that's a little bit darker to go in this area because dark covers dark. So I'm going to add a little bit to contain that redness there. And if you have pores, like some people just naturally have large pores. I'm one of those people. You need something a little bit darker. If you put your makeup on and it accentuates any of the texture that you have in your face, then your color is most likely too light. And that's with any makeup, not just this makeup, but any makeup. But with this makeup, for sure. So if I put this color all over, then it probably would be a little too warm and too dark. So just the lightest amount of product. All right, now I'm gonna go in with Sandy. That was Mango. I'm gonna go in with Sandy. And I'm going to apply it pretty much everywhere else where I don't have any product. Wearing close to as one layer as possible. I'm gonna tap it under my eye. I did correct a little bit under there with some of that Mango where I had some darkness. I love to use, this is the 3D brush, I love to use the pointed end to almost place my makeup, except where I have those pores. I like to kind of use the rounded end. We'll swipe over the eyes. I don't put a whole lot of cream foundation on my eyelids just because I usually correct that with some eyeshadow and it makes my mascara kind of transfer a little bit. So I'm just gonna go in and kind of mesh that mango and sandy together, still letting that contour sit. Just pressing these two colors together. Once I get my contour blended and my bronzer on, we're going to address her. All right, I feel like those are blended. Now I'm gonna go back to the detail brush. Watch how easy it is to blend this contour. So I'm gonna sweep down to diminish that line right there. And then I'm gonna sweep up into my hairline. I still have too bright of a light over here. So that just gives a little bit of shadow up here at my forehead. Same thing here, I'm gonna push up. I always say this is like a little broom just to soften, and then I'm just gonna tap. So you can see that just gives a little bit of shape and definition to my cheekbone. So I'm gonna push up and then just tap. You're just softening where the colors meet. No big deal. And then let's do our jawline. Just diminishing that harsh line. And that's contouring. All right, if you want to take it one step further and contour your nose, just kind of sweep your brush to get that contour on the edge, pinch it together. You can see the product is right there. And then I'm just going to lay the brush, keeping these lines as close as possible. You have to get a decent amount of product on your brush to do this, but it still takes less than what you think. And then I'm just gonna kind of soften that. A little bit more. I gotta look in the mirror. There we go. And then you can fuse it up into that shadow and then down. Now I'm gonna take my pinky finger and apply a little bit of a brightening shade. And then just tap where these colors meet. Contouring your nose is optional if it's something that you wanna do. If not, leave it off. I'm gonna brighten under the eye with that same color. This color is Sunlit. Sorry, something popped up on my screen. And then just tap that out, just to give a little added brightness right there. Now that is the true definition of highlighting and contouring. All right, so I like to take my Perfector sponge, which is like a beauty blender. It's damp, and just blot to pick up any excess makeup that may be sitting on the surface of my skin. And now I'm gonna go in with my bronzer because this is my favorite part. So I tap into Bella bronzer, a little bit of tan lines, those two. So that's tan lines and that's Bella. These two are darker highlight colors that can also be used as a bronzer. And I'm gonna just tap it on my forehead. And this is just going to warm everything up and kind of bring everything to life. Like you can already see that it's just warming up my skin and giving me like that sun-kissed glow. So if you feel like your makeup's missing something, I always tell people, try a bronzer. It just brings a little bit extra to your look. I'm just gonna lightly blend it, just kind of pouncing my brush like so. And then we're gonna come down here, and I always tell people to run something darker, whether it's your darker highlight color or a bronzer down your neck, because us as women, we carry a lot of redness in our chest. This part never tans, and then this just ties everything together because your makeup is not going to be as light as your neck. You're always going to have a little bit darker. And you should never match your makeup to this portion of your neck. So always run something just to tie your face, neck, and chest together. So that just kind of warmed up my skin a little bit. And now I'm gonna put on some blush. All right, so I'm gonna put on a little bit of Madrid. This color right here is Madrid. I personally like to use my finger just to tap on my blush. If you want your face to be more lifted, then apply your blush higher up. If you want to add some fullness to your face, you can apply it to the apples of your cheeks. I do a little bit of both. I'm not a huge blush person, but there's no wrong way. Like, it's whatever look you're going for. So I'll apply it with my finger, and then I'll go back in and just lightly tap. You'd be surprised at just tapping your brush how it blends, how well it blends. No need to have a heavy hand here. I like it. So let's address this. So I don't have a green color corrector, but I'm gonna use a contour color called Henna because there's still some redness in this. And I'm going to just tap. Now I can remove or filter out the unwanted color, but something that I cannot do is remove the texture. So always remember that. And sometimes the more you put on a product, the more or the worse it's gonna look. So I'm using a green base contour color around it where there is redness. And then I'm going to tap into my Mango just to give it a little bit of coverage. And it may or may not even do anything different. Now I think it toned it down some, but is it still there? Yes, it's gonna be there until it goes away. But you can apply something sometimes if you darken it a little bit versus putting something light on it, it will help to conceal it. It's not as noticeable, but the texture is always gonna be there from. So before I move into my eyes, let's set this cream makeup because cream makeup has to be set. That was some setting spray. I'm spraying on my damp beauty sponge, my Perfector sponge, and I'm going to set my under eye. I like to set my under eye with a setting spray, but I like to use a light powder for everything else. So I'm a fan of the IT Cosmetic by Pores pressed powder, wrong brush. And I like to just take a little bit of a soft fluffy brush and pounce it here. Ladies, if you have large pores, this stuff is probably one of the only products that I have found to help conceal them. So I'm just tapping. It takes a tiny bit, but you need to set your cream makeup either with a setting spray or a light setting powder. A little powder illuminator. This is Starlet. This has been my go-to for a while now. I just love like how the light hits it and it gives that little bit. You can add some on your Cupid's bow. I don't like a ton on my nose, but you can add it down the center of your nose. Let's do a little bit of eyeshadow. So I'm gonna take the color Cupcake and I'm gonna give everything a wash. This helps so much with blending. On your eyeshadows, if you start light and then move to darker, it will be so much easier. I like to do a complete wash of Cupcake. It kind of just balances everything out and it kind of preps my eyelid. I do not use an eyeshadow primer. I do not have a problem with my eyeshadow staying on all day. This is Arabian Nights. I like to use this cream shadow underneath to give my eye a little bit of line. I save the black eyeliner for the top. And then you can always soften that. And then I'm gonna go with a transition color. I'm gonna use the color Chai So that's Cupcake, and then this is Chai. And I'm gonna do this on my, basically where I'm gonna start darkening. I'm gonna add just kind of a wash. This, I'm telling you, if you start light and build to dark, it will help so much on blending. That's just something that I've learned, trial and error. So I'm just kind of giving myself a good canvas. All right, now I'm gonna go in with a shimmer. Let's do Stardust right here. So it's like a shimmer taupey color. I'm gonna apply this to my lid using my finger. Eyeshadow does not have to be complicated. I like to simplify it as much as I can. All right, so applying my shimmer with my finger just all over the lid. All right, now I'm gonna go in and I'm going to add some depth. So I'm gonna take a small brush and I'm going to apply some Philly. And I've learned too that if my darkest color is my last color, it blends so much easier. So I'm just applying that Philly to the outside corner. And then I'm just pushing up and inward. See how easy that is? Same thing over here. It's like once you lay the canvas, the darker it just blends better. And if you have deep set and hooded eyes like I do, you want to keep your dark on your outer corner. Push up and in. And now if I want to add a little bit more depth, I'll go in with a color that's a little bit lighter and just kind of bring it to balance that crease out. Same thing on this side. Give everything a soft blend. If you want to add a little bit more of that shimmer to make it pop, you can. And then I'm going to add Glamazing, which is one of our powder illuminators, right on that inside corner, and it's just going to tie it all together. I love shimmer. I feel like personally shimmer makes my like textured eyelids not be as noticeable. The last thing I do is I take a smaller, denser brush, I go back into that Cupcake and I clean up the inner corner and under that brow bone. Now I'll do my mascara and liner. All right, I always say mascara is what brings it together. So I use the Rimmel Scandaleyes. It is waterproof. I tight line underneath that waterline with this. And then I use the Fenty Beauty liquid liner in the color black. And I do my little wingtip and then dirty up my lash line. And then I just use drugstore mascara. So I'm trying this one out, the Colossal Big Shot Volume, as my first coat. And then this is my $5 Essence Sculpted Volume. I love this stuff. I was using something that was like $26 and I like this better. But I do like to do something, and this one's been a good go-to underneath. I usually do that off camera because I'm slow when I put on my mascara. I've learned that if I slow down, I can usually get it a little bit neater. But let's address these lips. All right, so I'm gonna contour my lip. Let me find my brush. Hold on, I just had that brush, but I lost it. All right, so multitasker into olive underneath. Currently, I have a little bit of our lip conditioner, which is just a lip balm that comes in one of the tins. I have that on. contour the top. Smear it out with my finger. I'm gonna add a little bit in my Cupid's bow to make that more pronounced. And then I'm going to line a little bit. What is this one? I just grabbed this one. LA Girl Ultimate Lip Intense Stay in the color Keep It Spicy. Just to add, and then I'm just gonna go simple. I've been using La Cienega, this kind of shimmery pinkish color. And there you have it. Easy highlighting and contouring. Mainly everything right here in one palette. If you'd like to get customized or match to your customized palette, you can drop something in the comments. There's a link on my main page. You can visit that link and it will take you to my color match form as well. There you have it.